Makin. Welcome to MV Live. This is Nick at the Art of MV, just with a Saturday night MV Live. Talk a little smack. I'm watching a little college football. Looks like Alabama's about to win. Yo, man, just coming from you live from the MVP Sound Lab, man. Only MV Productions here. Now, got me a nice hot cup of coffee and some chocolate. And I got a couple of things on my brain. Give some updates on the channel as I'm working on two of these. This is something I'm working on currently. It's barely started, man. I just kind of like the drum groove and was testing out some effects on this part from the Integra 7, man. So a lot of people didn't like the Integra 7. It didn't seem that popular, but this thing got a lot of sounds, man. Let me go to this other track. So I think I'm gonna title this one later on when I chop it up. It's gonna be about making music about videos, making beats about videos, something like that, man. Because I was sitting here and I'm in a certain part on certain songs, right? And it hit me that some of these tracks came out of the need to make a song about a video. You know what I mean? I need to make something to express a point. Like, let's see. Let me go to this song right here. I can only pick certain songs because I now have the Phantom dedicated elsewhere. So we're going to go to this one. I like to dabble in that Integra 7, right? So, and this is a patch that actually is also in my Verse Lab. This shit right here. Integra 7, but they even got these like old, they're supposed to be like drum breaks, right? And this is something, this is one of the SRX boards, one of those rolling SRX boards for the Phantom and the 5080. It comes stock in the Integra 7, and you can chop these up and take all kind of stuff from them, or you can use them like they are, you know. I know what original brick this one is actually imitating, right? And this is all in the Integra 7. Now, mind you, on all the percussive tracks on the Integra 7, right? These things they have their own drum bus with specific compression and gate and all kind of shit going on in the Integra 7 once you get deep in there, right? So there we are right here. Added all kind of little accents. There's an 808 roll. This was a beat made for showing the quantize on the MV. I remember this. I made this beat because I wanted to show the quantize. So let's go back all the way to the beginning on here. You guys gotta excuse me because my camera is in the way of a very specific part of my screen, so let me unmute this. Yeah, this got a whole bunch of quantized shit going on, right? But I had everything the way I want to, so I'm gonna show you why I'm bringing up this particular program, right? template in this track, I got things unquantized, off the grid. I got stuff on the grid. I got stuff just all over the place. But this was made just for that, right? But now I got some scratches and stuff I want to end, but later for that. So why am I tripping on these two tracks, right? Well, once again, they were beats made about videos. So this has led to a series of tracks that I have that actually have made it past just the case of being made to be released as, an instrumental. So I actually booked a trip to a studio back home. And where is home? Well, home is the West Coast. So I can start to do the mixing phase and actually get this guy to help me finish him out. And it's going to help me to show a couple of parts of the MV1 verse lab that nobody really talks about too much. Well, I can't say nobody talks about it, but I haven't seen what I'm about to pull off with the MVs, right? So, one thing I can tell you is that if you already have an MV, I just told you that patch that was playing, and there's other patches that I've since come to find that are on the Zencore, because Roland has a good job of recycling their sounds, right? Or selling you the same sound twice, whatever, no matter what you want. But I kind of was hoping that was the case, because I really wanted this to be a miniature version of this big one right here. I wanted the Verse Lab to be a mini MV8000. Now, I'm talking about this particular part at this point because there's a constant chatter of, I wish Roland would make an MV. But the MV1, they say, well, I wish Roland would make another MV8000. It would be great because the MV1 doesn't come close. I think that's putting a little bit of sugar on top of the cake. It's okay. We know it's not an MV, but to say it doesn't come close is kind of pushing it. Now, it doesn't come close because of the specs, but this is a slightly different or vastly different machine than the MV 30 that came before it. So, you could say the same thing. So you could say that none of the MVs are modeled after the previous MV, except for the MV 8800 being the same thing as the MV 8000. It was like kind of a Mark II version of it, but they're basically the same piece of hardware and everything, and have the same speed and whatnot. But anyway, these two particular things I can't mix down. So this is, if you run into this problem, this is what I do when I run into this problem. So I go to a project, and you can't see it, but this project here is, okay, maybe we'll be able to see it. So let me see if I can bring the screen. You guys bear with me here. So as you can see, the project we're on, this one that says Red Pill Romance down here, is 502 megabytes out of 512 megabytes per program. So there's nothing much I can do with that with adding any extra audio into this track. If it was this one, the Reclamation project, or the Clap Track project, I could easily record some audio in here, but not this one with only about 10 megabytes left. And what I got on each of these tracks, let me exit this. What I got on each of these tracks already in this project, because in this project there's like 16 songs. If I pulled up the project and I pulled up the songs, this is little things about your MV that's cool to know, that for you guys who don't know what albums are and didn't come up in the age of albums, there's these things called albums, and they usually had about anywhere from 10 to 16 songs on there. So the MV's projects are divided up. You can have 16 different sequences for the songs, whatever, inside a project, and all the sounds and stuff that you would have. And that will probably be similar because every time you load a project, those sounds will be loaded up. No matter which song you have it on, those projects will all be loaded up, and they'll probably all have a feel to it. So I think that was the thing. But I'm saying that because all the sounds that are in here between all these songs and all the audio, if I go to these tracks, all these tracks got audio, all these tracks got samples, and it's too many in here. So now I'd have to go do this. So I can't put any more audio into these tracks. So let me exit this. I can't put any more audio in these two tracks because all the other songs, right? So what I'm going to have to do is fill this out and go into mixdown mode and record this just like this, or with a slight mix on it. So let's see if we can get a decent mix going. Pump it up a little bit. I will leave my inputs like they are now. You see I got it set up, and that's because what I have come in from the Integra, I want it to sound exactly like this. So whatever I got going, I want to get that. I might even wake the inputs up just a little bit, just to get them a little louder. I kind of like them a little softer. Hold on. About like that. Just as it is, right? So you get your mixes down how you want them to sound, and then if you don't have the space left in your project, you can always just take it straight to mixdown. It's going to record what's coming on the inputs. Now, this is cool to kind of mention because the Verse Lab kind of acts like this too, but later for that. So we're going to let this roll real quick. this just gives me a nice little reference track. You know, I might dump it in the SP555. You know, all of it's 24-bit. So, now we can hit stop. And if we want to go to master, we go to master and so forth, right? But now I got this. I can say, no, I'm not going to master. But we're going to save the project at the point it is. Now, these are the only things that, you know, move slow to me on the MV. The workflow ain't slow at all. The load times, of course, they're slow, but, you know, I'm sitting here sipping on some coffee, eating some chocolate, blowing on one. I'm not really worried about how fast this thing is working. I mean, when did it become all the rage to do everything so freaking fast anyway? So I'm only doing that because I can't make audio tracks of this and keep them as a whole song. So now I got a copy of that one sounding exactly the way I'd want to put it. So if I was to back out of here, right, I'm gonna go to another song and do the same thing with the other song because I wanted that one part to be recorded. Well, you know what? I don't think I want to record that one like that because it's kind of loud. So I think I'm gonna save that one. But that goes for stuff like for music for making videos. So like one of the videos, the ones that's going to the final mix is gonna probably be my music. That's gonna be part of what this, like that song right there, this song that I just did the stereo track of, the mix down of, is actually I'm gonna use it as background music, some videos and whatnot. This one is, I got a song that's kind of dedicated with little snippets of the MV, the conversation between Makin. This right here.
This is a thing of beauty.
Now this is gonna be the song that kind of opens up some of my podcast or whatever. But the track struck me as something that should stick as what it is, and you have probably heard it since. I used it for a few times, and I think it's gonna go with these kind of vocals.
See, treasure is put to use. This trained to live, knowing each choice made. It's your own.
The MV was very different in that respect because it really was a true full production studio. And I can't think of one other instrument made that you could do everything
from beginning to end to master.
CD burned, red book, qualified edition that you could deliver for distribution. You have piano rolls, you have everything else that you could possibly want in this thing. And one of the most attractive things about this, and I did a video about this, was a quantizing.
Another thing too that, you know, when we're talking about the quantize and everything, that really separated this from anything else out there was you could have it in record mode or just plain, and you could adjust the percentage of the quantize and everything all in real time. The Cosm effects that are built in on the MV, there's actually a lot of boss effects that are built into the Cosm effects.
Which is stuff that you found on the VS recording. So
shout out to Roger and Mike Acosta for these
simulations and all these really cool things that you can find, like
posting the video for me. So some of that's from one called Gear Chat, right? And it's really interesting because I made that track just to make that video. I just wanted something to play as background music to a video, or as intro music to a video, and that's what I came up with, and that's where it remains. I don't know what else I want to do with that beat, right? So when you start doing and working like that, certain ones push through, and certain ones become just that, right? So I decided I wasn't going to go in mix down mode. So let me see. I'm gonna go out of here, and I'm gonna load this song up. So my background music. So we're going to go to 2. Right. So now we're back to this sequence, the one I was working on today. So if I was to stop this one and go into here and go into audio file list, and I go to the one down, to the mix down track. Down here is the one I just pulled, and I can listen to that. So I'm not in master mode or nothing, and I didn't use I didn't have any room left in the actual project folder, and I wanted to save a nice little copy of the idea. You know what I mean? I can roll with this. You know, I can simply do a quick master, which I probably will leave this for. We'll use this one as an example of the mastering suite when we use the mastering suite, since it's gonna be there. But it has all the elements there that I kind of wanted to take a snapshot of. I still got the original sequence, and I still got the option to do a whole nother just like that, and then go straight to mastering if I like. So that's why I was showing you for that. So just in case, man, there's a lot of workarounds when you start to run out of space, and when you start to run out of RAM. You know what I mean? When you start to run out of RAM, there's a lot of little workarounds you can do if you're kind of familiar with the machine that you're working with. So anyway, when you talk about sound and you talk about redundancies,
I'm a
another video that was made for, let me see, another song that was made for videos. Let me get it real quick. Now this is one of those instances, right? So that little running noise is an MV sound. So all these sounds are straight out the MV 8000. And I had to come up with something to use the track, or use that noise in 2 different ways to kind of demonstrate how the MV can work in your favor. And I'm gonna demonstrate it twice here, right? So I'm gonna go to this over here. So solo this real quick. Now I want you to know that this MIDI note and this MIDI note are of the same patch, just placed differently, right? So what I had with this one is, let me see here, line it up. Okay. doesn't make any sense. Oh, yeah. You gotta come out of mixdown mode. Yes. I forgot about that. So these sounds right here, this one, if you don't know, the MV8000 has the best 808 patch ever created per Mike Acosta. Even better than 808. As a matter of fact, I think the 808 is divided up into, when you look at it, drag it over here. When you look at the patches, it's 2 banks. So, go to second bank. I see. So I think I took this one and I spread it out over the keyboard and chopped off the high ends and made it a hold one. See how you let that one go? I made it where you have to hold it. Let me show you. Let me get out of here. So when you play this one, so when you see when you release it, and it's all on the keyboard. So if you hold it or whatever, so that makes it where you can make it either a short kick or a long kick with a little bass tendencies, right? So the way I use it is just like that. And that running noise that's in that first track can be done the same way. You can hold it and it'll make an arpeggiated noise, or it can sound like this. That's the same exact patch that I use for the other song for the same thing. You know, the melody part is that same, it's the same sound, only I'm not holding it and I'm playing it on the MV in the pads with the notes. You know what I mean? Because the MV's pads are arranged like a keyboard, you just gotta find the patterns. I gotta bring up stuff like this every now and then because there was a guy, we was talking about the CR78, by the way, which is the drum machine that I'm using on this song, the CR78, old ass, antiquated drum machine, right? But Roland gave it to us when it came out for the 8000, and you can actually customize it like you can everything else. But anyway, the CR78 is also in the MV1 Verse Lab, and somebody was making a comment about the Verse Lab not being able to do what the ACB Roland gear can do as far as, you know, stretching the sounds out and being an actual synthesizer. And I get that part. But what we got to get over what the MV1 Verse Lab can't do and really marvel at what it can do. So this thing does a lot so far. So moving in that direction, the things that it does kind of have, because like I said, let's double back. I kind of bought this hoping that it would be like this, like everyone else did. I just hoped that it was going to be a replacement for the MV8000. And for me, I think it is. And I can tell you why. Because basically, I'm learning to control the Phantom right now with the MV8000. I mean, the Phantom with the using it in combination with the MV1 Verse Lab, right? Let's get something over here. And what I'm finding is that you can, if you get the right piece of gear, if you get the right piece of gear, this probably can be a monster. Talking about the Verse Lab can probably be a monster if you get the right gear. I'm not quite as good on it as I'd like to be just yet because I have other things I have to do, you know, like everybody else, you know, I got whatever. But what I do like about it is it sounds good, and it sounds good enough where I haven't even really wanted to sample on here, that's the kind of sounds it has on here, you know. And if you put some other sounds on here, I'm pretty sure that you could pretty much do anything you want. What I really believe is going to be the move is I got some things I'm trying to do. So instead of having the Phantom XA, I really think I'm going to go out and I'm going to sell the Phantom X and get the Phantom XR rack to go right underneath the Integra 7 and replace the keyboard version with the Akai Peak MPK 61. That one that they released. And here's why I say that. I think that from my work with the Phantom and the MV One Verse Lab, I think the Akai keyboard will probably be the perfect match for this thing, man. You get the sounds from Akai and the sounds from Roland. You get your choice of sequencers. You can use one for the other, or go back and forth. But at the end of the day, when you want to go to the last part and do vocals and stuff like that, I think that the Verse Lab would excel a lot better. I'm really having fun with it with the Phantom right now, and I'm going to actually be able to tell you guys more about that part. So I've been actually kind of using the Phantom in sync with the MV1 Verse Lab, and what I'm finding is that because the Phantom is a full feature sequencer, synthesizer, and sampler, is that that's a really good way to get to know what your boundaries with the MV is going to be. Like, I've seen a lot of people wonder what they can do with the MIDI. Admittedly, I haven't went past just controlling something and bringing it in the input. I don't even sample the clips and anything yet. That's something I'm working on right now, working through right now. And I tend to work through the issues of the MV before I go to video with it, because if you ask me, and this is just me, it seems the MV, other than the Roland's performance gear, is cool to probably watch. The SPs are cool to watch. People can use the MC707s, 909s, the TR8S. Their performance gear is cool to watch people tweak the knobs, but the MVs and not so much, man. Most people I see at the MVs, the overhead is quite boring. It's just, it's just quite boring. I'm trying to avoid that, as you guys can see. Anyway, so making beats about videos. That video, both of these beats were made about video. Even this one right here, which I'm working on now. So, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and make this part while you guys are here, because so I've been going through this, and this is the same one from the other day, and but I made several changes to it this time, right? Like I said, pros I already see is that you can do once you got the MIDI in and MIDI out. So this is MIDI in and MIDI out. These are married now, two-way marriage. And you can treat the keyboard sounds inside the Phantom like they're MV sounds. So if I hit style and shift, it's going to. So we made us some parts, right? Right? So I've made this section the end and the beginning. But now I want to change the end of it. I want to change the end of it now to this part, this little 4-bar part. No, actually this part with the electric piano part in it. Dun. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into song mode. I'm gonna hit record. This is on the fly. I just thought about this just now. And I'm going to hit this part. Actually, I'm going to hit this part and hit clear. And clear it out. And then hit it again. And put that there. All right. Now, hit record. Let me see on this clip. Let's go with 2. Now, since I'm on that section, go to sequence. And hit the sequence and make me a new little part. Check it out. I'm gonna replace that. Still missing the part. Trying this shit out, man. So, hit song mode. Let's go back and see what we got. Lots of people don't like song mode in MV1 versus I think I'm in the minority on a lot of stuff when it comes to the MVs, man. I'm in the minority. I'm actually not using the Zen Beats right now, but I like using the Zen Beats editor, the Verse Lab editor too. Let's see what we got here. Here's where the two changes I made. Everything else stayed the same, but just the different in the outro. The outro was actually the first section, and the outro was the exact same section. I changed that around now. to save that version, I'll just hit that shift and load button. That. Hit that OK. Overwrite that, and I'll have whatever little last bit of work that I did, man. You just gotta have a good habit of that, man. So let's talk about a simple setup here, man, and you know how most people might do it and how I do it. So I think people underestimate and overestimate the SP. I mean the MP. I'm sorry, the MV. I'm looking at my SP555 because it plays a different role than most people's SP might play. So I use this SP to complete total and full songs as well. So first of all, if you want to check out the SP, I think the best SP video is on Sample Kings, because this thing has a lot of uses. But just like a lot of rolling stuff, a lot of buttons got like double and triple duty. You know, you hold this pad and this button when you're in sample mode, and they just change everything up. I literally usually have to have the manual up on the iPad while I'm working on the 555. Excuse me. Some easy background music that I made to make a video with. So let's talk to 555. I usually have to have the manual up to re-jog my memory, but once I do it a couple of times per session, I'll remember it as long as I'm still steady doing it. But this thing can actually be used as a beat making machine and a sampler, and an effects box, and an interface, and a analog heat type thing, because you can even run your DAW through this, and I learned that through the Ableton users, right? But what I like to do with my what I like to do with my SP555 is the internal tracks.
Bang your beat song.
This has got the original drum sounds in. But on the B internal, I replaced it with my own set. Now mine's a little lower, a little grimy, but that's because I've turned the pads down. You got a lot of control over this particular SP. I don't know if every SP is like this one, and in that regard, basically, you can turn the pads up and down how you want them to sound. But yeah, so I can create whole songs on here because of the loop capture and because of the pads being able to hold so much. So you remember, like the old SPs, you can hold entire songs on the SP. So. Whole songs. Let's get this.
Allow me to.
There goes a song. Got some background music. So you can hold that whole song on one pad on the 555, right? So this makes its use in my studio a little different So it's usually used, it's my best sampler. When I say sampler, I mean if I'm sampling from vinyl or any other incoming signal, even these, the MVs or the Phantom, it's going into here because I can immediately play with it, immediately chop it up, and immediately customize it and get it exactly how I want it to sound. EQ, noise, whatever you want to do, this thing can do it. What I think happened with this MV is that it sounded too clean for SP users. SP users may think this thing sounded really, really clean and probably strayed away from it. But anyway, that's what the SP kind of does for me. It's a repository, basically. However, because it's mobile, I can sample this into this and take it along with this and have my MV with me when I go to the studio here in Phoenix. So I'm setting up this trip, you guys, to show the mobility and the completion of the MV series that I've been doing for a while, so that you can see how to finish a song on the MV. It's a finisher. It's a little bit more, or a lot of bit more, than a beat making machine. This thing is designed to finish whole songs, and I'm going to go all the way with it. I have a couple of artists that are willing to work with me. I got a couple of vocals and a couple songs that's going to have vocals that are chopped in from different sources like movies and songs and stuff like that. I got some DJing to do in the song, so you guys see this new addition to the setup. If you guys can see it, it says Rolling Gang, Serato. Yep, So I went on ahead and got out and got the DJ system. So I got about a terabyte of old music, man. So, and tons of CDs. So we're about to go into a whole nother stratosphere with the channel, and the live cook-ups and the live everything. So yeah, man. Project. So as we wait for the MV to slowly load, I'm just doing a little housekeeping today, man. Just decided to go live and talk shit. So this is the kind of shit that made me love the Phantom, man. But I really just want to get the XR. But to me, you got to learn how to make beats on all your equipment. Like, if I'm locked in a room with my MV, one verse lab, I could do a whole shit. If I'm locked in a room with my SP555, I could do the whole shit. If I walk in the studio and the studio got an MV sitting in the corner, it's good. You know what I mean? Not to say that's going to happen, but we're going to take our MV on the road with us, right? Loading up this one program here. We're about to get the sampling on the channel a little bit more. I actually had to upgrade a bunch of things, man. I'm waiting for my computer because I actually work in a hybrid situation. So really for the past year, I have not, this is the first year I haven't been hybrid. I've been fully digital. And that's even fully digital and then fully digital inside the box. So the fully digital that I am now is not even the regular digital. I'm really just making use of the MVs and my hard disk recording interface to do a lot of what I do now. And that's the way you got to do it, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But I usually work inside a DAW, and until about earlier this year, my computer was pretty good, solid state drive, the operating system is old, it's like Windows 10, and it was really giving me problems with the software, the DAW I was using in the program. The program was starting to freeze up, and the iLock was starting to freak out. It was just a whole big thing. So I'm actually getting another Windows computer so that we can continue to use the Sonar DAW. Now, I'm kind of thinking about the Sonar thing. I want to stick with the Cakewalk DAW for a couple of reasons. I know it. It's very thorough at what it does, and it sounds good. Now, some people think that DAWs don't have sounds, but they do, because each DAW is not engineered the same. So it's one thing, say, GarageBand and Logic sound similar or about the same because they're the same audio engine, right? The difference is the amount of plugins and third-party things you get with the Logic as opposed to GarageBand or the whatever, but they basically sound the same. FL Studio definitely has a way that it sounds that doesn't make it sound like Pro Tools. Now, I've had Pro Tools before, and I'm telling you, there are differences because I've had Cakewalk, I've had Pro Tools, I've worked strictly in Reasons before, and Reasons has a sound. I love the sound of Reasons, but neither one of them have integration with the plugin suite that I like to use, which is Console One. And I'm one of those guys, man, that if it sounds good, I don't need a whole bunch of different iterations of it. I just need one iteration of it, and that's what Console One gives me. Console One gives me any extra compressors and channel strips that I need is in Console One. I think I had a handful of things, compressors, and I had a couple of specific EQs, and they came with the 4000 and the 9000 as channel strips, and I like the 9000, man. And when I talk about trying to make a Dre sound or trying to make a certain sound, it's the mixing console I concentrate on. I don't think your drum machines and stuff give you your sound like a lot of people do. So once again, I'm in a repair project. So this is another thing I like about the MV, right? So you guys have seen this was basically an old song that I had, and I made this whole project to make a video out of using the sampler on the MV and showing how I had it chopped up here into banks, you know what I mean, all the way down. This is a patch. Right, this is a patch made up from one 16-bar loop, and it's an old sequence that uses mostly the Phantom and an MPC, and I found out that I could take the drums out by using the stem separation because I want to keep all the keyboard parts. I just don't want the snare or the kick. I don't want but the hi-hat patterns, I want it. Check it out. So when I listen to it, so what happened with that song was, Here's the second part. Oh, actually, here's the first part. I'm gonna show you guys what I like to do with this. Soften it up. Let me actually go ahead and do it. So I like to go ahead and use. Here's the second part. So it's like divided into, it's a loop that's divided into two 8-bar loops. The hook and the verse. Now I want to keep everything but the drums. Everything but that 808, that kick, that snare. I keep everything else and rework the whole song because I like that beat, right? But I just needed really something to import from an MPC and some loops to import. So it came out of, it was born out of, once again, making music to do a video. So here's all those sounds, right? Now I've since made like this sound, I turned this into a patch to a whole other song that's on this thing, right? Here's it. See, it's supposed to go with this. So I've since sampled this part and filtered everything out except for that flute. And I'll show you that song later. That's a whole nother song, right? So I'm just going to show you that this is all random. I think 2 tracks came out of this one. 2 tracks just to make a video came out of these particular things. So I wound up making a sequence with this one because, let me see. Because I'm actually attempting to recreate the sequence without the drums. So here's what I did. Now this is going to be dumped into another program. So I tempoed it out. I couldn't get it to play at the 121 that it was playing at when I recorded it. But I got it to play at 66.27 without drifting with their long chops. Now, I do have this chopped up into smaller bites as well, like 4-bar or 2-bar bites. Let me see, 2 times 3 bars. See that whole muddied up sound right there? Keyboards and shit, but you know, you hear what you hear, man. And I think what I want to do is rip the drums out of there and kind of start with some new shit. But I love that TB303, that Dr. Groove rhythm, that bass sound is from it's from an old Dr. rhythm, that resonance on that synth. Do 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 do. I love that part, right? And all out of the need to want to make a video about it. So, you know, I appreciate, man, everybody tuning in, whoever tuned in. Man, peace, man. Leave a like in the comment. I'm just testing this out and talking shit and playing back beats, man. Making beats about videos, pretty much. A lot of these are going somewhere else, though, man. I really appreciate the inspiration that making a beat about a video made me want to finish songs, which is, I guess, a very good benefit of it. You know what I mean? Like finish it up. Like let's get this whole thing doing because nobody else is really finishing their shit up. So anyway, that's gonna be the next thing, right?